Smiling Friends is one of my favorite new cartoons. There's so much to love about it. The characters are fun and unique. The setup with it following a non-profit organization trying to make people smile is genius, because we get to see so many different types of characters. The mixed media art is amazing, and of course, the show is hilarious. I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched any YouTube videos from Michael Cusack or Zach Hadel, the creators of Smiling Friends, but I'll have to check them out since I think Michael and Zach are hilarious. That is exactly what I said last year while watching season 2, but I swear I'll get around to it. Now that season 3 is out, I want to go through every episode one by one and find out if season 3 is any good. I thought season 2 was a bit of a decline for the show. I'm not saying it was bad, far from it. It was still really funny, but compared to season 1, it was definitely less good. My biggest problem with season 2 is that half the episodes had nothing to do with the Smiling Friends actually making people smile. Now I know the plots would get really repetitive if they do the same formula over and over again, so branching out and trying new things is definitely a good thing, but I still feel like more than half of the episodes should follow the core formula and not be about random things. I mean, Phineas and Ferb stayed fresh even though it followed the same plot structure almost every episode, so it can be done. Especially since this show is focused on making you laugh, and not focused on lore and stuff. Now, I might be alone here. My opinion can also be like this because the episodes not focusing on making people smile last season were some of the weakest episodes in the entire show. But maybe this season's plots not focusing on making people smile are going to be my favorite. I do feel like it's going to be hard to top season 1, which in my opinion is one of the funniest seasons of television out there. But maybe season 3 will hit it out of the park. So let's find out. And also ask the question, is Smiling Friends season 3 any good? Episode 1 is Silly Samuel. Charlie and Pim have to make Silly Samuel smile. His life is garbage because people can't take him seriously, so he has lost everything and is living in his car. The B-plot follows Mr. Boss and Alan trying to stop the city building inspector from shutting down Smiling Friends HQ. Since Mr. Boss used cheap labor from the inhabitants of the Enchanted Forest to build it, and it's not up to code at all. The A-plot with Silly Samuel is definitely the weaker plot of the two, just because I really don't like Silly Samuel. It's important for you to like the character that the Smiling Friends are trying to make smile. Otherwise, you are just thinking, why are they helping them? And Silly Samuel is one of those people. He has a terrible outlook on life, doesn't try to embrace who he is, only screams at Charlie and Pim who are trying to help him out, and is genuinely annoying. I do like how his body is built like that and they can't change his appearance at all, otherwise he will die. That's a great gag, and I do have to say the animation on him is great. I always love seeing what art styles the crew will do next, and his is a great one. The B-plot on the other hand is fantastic. It's hysterical. I love Alan and Mr. Boss's dynamic. Mr. Boss is crazy and wacky, while Alan is very monotoned and normal. So having them play off each other is great, especially when Mr. Boss is just going to kill the inspector and Alan tries to stop him. The inspector knocks over a nail that keeps the building in place and the Smiling Friends HQ starts rolling around the town killing people. Eventually it rolls towards a crowd of people Silly Samuel is trying to warn, but they aren't listening to him because he is so damn silly looking. Thankfully, Glep comes to the rescue and puts the nail back into the ground, saving everyone. Everyone sees that Silly Samuel was right and they start taking him seriously, making him smile. I'm not gonna lie, I saw the Cool Autistic Gamer 774 clip first, so I thought everyone was going to die at the end of this episode. He has to be someone from the show, right? How did he do this? It's extremely impressive, especially coming out hours after the episode did. And Pim and Charlie sound pretty good, but also a bit off. This might be one of the greatest mysteries of our lifetime. Who the fuck is the Cool Autistic Gamer? If you actually don't know who he is, he's a guy that started uploading clips of Smiling Friends last season, and his outros kept getting more and more elaborate. I'm glad he's back. This episode is really funny, especially the Alan and Mr. Boss plot. Like, you know it's good when there are 3 really big memes that came from just this episode. Of course, those are the Alan, we are so fucked, which I've been saying way too often. It's kind of gotten to be a problem. Then there's this clip.
Yo guys, it's me, Charlie. Hey, did that guy just turn into sand?
Which made me belly laugh when I first saw it. And of course, Mr. Boss explaining to Alan what will happen if they don't pass the inspection, which is a homage to a Chris Chan clip. I also love how they show that the guy in the walls from the first episode is now dead. Rest in peace, wall jack-off guy. The best part of this episode is that the A and B plots merge in the end, which if you know anything about me, that shit is like heroin to me. It feels very natural, and it makes the plots feel connected, which makes the episodes more memorable and feel like they're just one big package. I also love that the inspector doesn't fail them because they made him laugh. Decent start to the season. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the #1 spot. Obviously, it's the first episode. Episode 2 is Le Voyage Incroyable de Monsieur Greenwell.
Nailed it.
This is the final episode of the Mr. Frog saga, and what a conclusion it is. This episode starts off with Mr. Frog achieving everything he has ever wanted, and now is sad because what else is there to do? Pim and Charlie try to get him to set new goals, but he's too goated for that. Pim sings a song that reminds Mr. Frog about his family. So after knocking him the fuck out, Mr. Frog goes back to his swamp to reconnect with his dad. And this scene encapsulates what I love about this show so well. His dad talks about how Mr. Frog is an embarrassment, and how his mom died of cancer a couple months back, and her final words were, "Where is my son?" It's such a silly setup for a scene with his dad played by Creed Barton, the guy who played Creed in The Office, just painted green, but it's played so straight, and it's actually really tragic, with some hard-hitting lines like, "I have no son." It's impressive how good Creed's acting is in this scene. I imagine all he was doing was acting this out on a green screen, but he rocks the scene. Also, the animation around him is great. Like when he picks up a coffee cup. That shit must have been so hard to animate. Such a great scene. Then Mr. Frog finds inner peace and learns everything there is to know by eating the bug of knowledge, mirroring how he ate the bug on his show. Then it ends with him turning into a live-action frog and saying goodbye, which is so hard-hitting because he always says hello. So this might be the best trilogy of all time. It follows a troubled man trying to find purpose in life, with his family hating him, and he finally finds it, just being a frog sitting on a lily pad. This episode is pretty good. This is a great example of switching up the formula. Usually Charlie and Pim are the ones to help the person smile, but since Mr. Frog knocked Pim the fuck out, he has to find happiness on his own. It's so fun that every episode 2 from each season has been following Mr. Frog, and I hope his journey ends here. They told a great story with him, and to add on to it would lessen the impact of this ending. This episode is also really funny.
Man, like, you want to fuck my girlfriend?
In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the #1 spot, above Silly Samuel. Episode 3 is Moleman. This episode starts off with Charlie and Pim getting kidnapped by a mole man, who has stalked Pim and Charlie since Smiling Friends HQ was built above his home. During this, the rest of the Smiling Friends think Pim and Charlie are dead, so Alan and Glep go and try and cheer a single mother of 3 up by babysitting her kids, who are evil. This episode is hysterical. The mole man's design is gross and weird, but that fits his character since he is a kidnapper. And call me juvenile, but the reason why he's unhappy being about his weird looking penis had me giggling, especially since he constantly brings it up. The Alan and Glep plotline is really fun, with these kids just beating the shit out of them, and they fill Glep up like a water balloon, poor guy. There are so many great bits, like the firefighters telling the group that they could recover Pim and Charlie's bodies, but they would most likely look like ground beef, and even though that sounds delicious, it's not. Mr. Boss's dance, the Jesse Ventura puppet, Pim and Charlie talking about President Shrimp's magical bullet scandal, and so much more. I don't know why they didn't go with President Peanut, since that's who's president now after Mr. Frog quit. It was right there, man. Still funny though. I also love the ending with Pim and Charlie escaping and ending up in the house of the single mother. And Moleman is going to kill them all, but the mother comes home and sees his penis and thinks it looks great, and they get married, making both of them smile. Just hilarious. Same with Alan saying his penis looks delicious. I do like how the A and B plots merge in the end, solving both conflicts. Like I said before, I'm a big fan of that in shows, and Smiling Friends always does it really well. My one problem with this episode is why didn't Pim and Charlie just tell him to put on pants? Like, they don't even recommend it. I love the continuity they have in this show, constantly calling back to events and episodes. Like in this episode when it shows us a flashback of Mr. Boss ordering around people from the Enchanted Forest to build the HQ. Finally, I wonder if Moleman self-inserting himself into Smiling Friends is a reference to the people who do that to this show. Probably not. The only person it could possibly be referencing is the cool autistic gamer, since the others didn't really start until this season. But that is still pretty neat if it is. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the number 1 spot, above, oh god damn it, the Mr. Frog episode. I'm not saying that title again. Episode 4 is Curse of the Green Halloween Witch. I love horror, so I always look forward to the Smiling Friends Halloween special. And spoiler alert, this episode is fantastic. It follows the Smiling Friends seemingly getting cursed after Charlie doesn't want to give a witch a dime. Eventually Pim snaps and kills everyone, but then it's revealed this is what will happen if they don't give the witch a dime. Then Mr. Boss chokes her out. I love this episode. From the camera angles that make it look legitimately cinematic, to the insane animation quality. I mean, look at Charlie's face melting off. The colors are great as well. The claymation horror movie at the beginning is so cool looking. I love claymation. The voice acting is superb. I mean, listen to Zach when Charlie's face is melting off. It's insane.
Ah! Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Whoa, whoa! Ah! Ah!
This episode can be a bit freaky, with the ways that Pim kills the crew, to the hyper-detailed creatures, to Mr. Boss with no eyes. That last one's gonna haunt me for a while. But what puts this episode on another level is that the horror doesn't stop this episode from being funny. This is the funniest episode of the season so far. Such great gags. Like the whole ending scene. Mr. Boss telling his mom he put her in a home as a prank. And so many more quick gags. That's my main problem with the first Halloween episode. It's great, but they mostly focused on horror. This episode seamlessly blends horror and comedy. I also love how they give the gang a bit of an arc with them ignoring Pim at the beginning. But what happens in the orb makes them apologize to Pim. Some good stuff, even though I think them being memed to Pim comes out of nowhere. Hell, Charlie even admits it's out of character. And I know what some of you are going to say. This doesn't follow the Smiling Friends formula. And first off, none of the Halloween episodes do. And secondly, I said it's fine if it's good. And this episode is pretty damn good. And also, the last 3 episodes followed the formula. This is the best episode yet, and hell, one of the best episodes of the entire series. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the number 1 spot, above Moleman. If you're enjoying the video, please like and subscribe. What do you think of Smiling Friends Season 3? Finally, my Letterboxd is in the description if you want to go follow me on there. Okay, self-promotion over. Back to the video. Episode 5 is Pim and Charlie Save Mother Nature. This episode starts off with the gang going on vacation. Finally, they get to go on a real vacation, unlike when they went to Brazil. Charlie and Pim go hiking and find Mother Nature after Charlie litters. She asks who littered and the duo says Mothman. Then they clean the area to a really catchy song. This part really reminds me of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, with them singing the song that is mostly child-friendly and lighthearted, until they say filth, then they go evil mode. It's a nice way to show Mother Nature is a bit devious. Then Mother Nature finds the Mothman and kills him. Pim accidentally reveals that Charlie was the one who littered and she tries to eat Charlie. So Pim throws trash in her mouth, killing Mother Nature. The other plot follows Mr. Boss trying to get Alan to relax, and he finally does. This is another great episode. Both plots are hilarious. I love the claymation of Mother Nature. It's so smooth, and I love how deformed looking Mother Nature gets when she goes evil mode. The shot of the inside of her mouth is just so good. The designs are top tier this episode. Mother Nature isn't the only good animation in this episode. There's the rotoscoped Mr. Boss, which if you try and say isn't funny, you are wrong. And of course, the best animation in the entire show. The PNG Blueberry. I also really like the Alan and Mr. Boss plot. At first I thought it was going to be about how the internet password is I hate Alan 58, but that goes nowhere and turns into Mr. Boss trying to get Alan to relax. And it's really wholesome.
Oh!
Why is he doing that? That's such a great gag, especially since they don't act awkward about it the next day. Mr. Boss is just like, thanks for doing that. It's really wholesome seeing Alan let loose for once and actually be happy. Then the cherry on top of this hysterical episode is that the cryptid Charlie was looking for was really a picture of the inside of Mr. Boss's rectum. My only problem with this episode isn't really a problem. I thought they were doing a cryptid episode, which would be amazing. I mean, Zach and Michael were on the internet during the heyday of cryptids and creepypastas, so I feel like a good old cryptid episode would be fun. We do get some Mothman action, so that's good at least. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the second spot, below Curse of the Green Halloween Witch, but above Moleman. Episode 6 is Squim Returns. Sorry if I sound weird during this part, I pulled a Charlie and got sick. This episode starts off with Charlie faking sick so he can play a new game that came out. So Mr. Boss calls in the first smiling friend to ever exist, Squim, to help Pim out. Squim is super positive and seems to be really good at his job. Him and Pim get along really well, but then Squim sees that Mr. Ice Cream's wife died and says that's not positive and does the Squim dance. Pim is pissed at him and tells him that he can't always be positive about everything. In the B-plot, Mr. Boss finds out Charlie's not sick, so Charlie has to get to work, otherwise he'll be fired. He tries to get there, but he starts to trip balls and eventually gets naked and is held at gunpoint by the police. Squim comes in and all the police shoot him instead. Then it turns out Charlie got a parasite from the kebabs he ate earlier. And this is my favorite joke from the episode, where Charlie says he will never eat at Parasite Kebab again. It's such a stupid joke, but it's so damn funny. So this episode was pretty good. I think it's a great concept to pair Pim up with someone who is really positive, just like him. Charlie's a bit of a Debbie Downer sometimes, and Pim's mad at him for playing hooky. But Squim shows Pim that sometimes being positive isn't good. It's a great little arc for Pim. Same with Charlie admitting that he shouldn't have faked being sick to play the game. The animation is great as always in this episode. Squim is animated in a rubber hose style animation, where he hardly ever stops moving and he looks great. Especially the old grainy look about him. He really looks like he would be from a cartoon back in the 50s about a cracked out Pac-Man or something like that. I know Pac-Man didn't exist back then, but you get what I'm going for. Then there's Charlie's trip scene where he's seeing shit and it looks great, but I have to give props to the music. He keeps running into people like the Get Out of My Head guy talking about the bus driver being a devil, and a barking dog. Then those bits get added to the score, making Charlie's trip a real hell to get through. It's great stuff. Yo, Charlie, why is Mr. Frog like that on your phone? It's really interesting seeing the first smiling friend, and the implication of why he doesn't work there anymore is hilarious. He retired in 2001, so he definitely did the Squim dance during 9/11. This episode does merge the A and B plots, which is nice, and it fits really well because Pim and Charlie are both having little arcs that are solved when the plots merge. The Simpsons parody at the beginning of this episode is really funny and kinda unsettling, especially when Bart says "hawk to a man." The creators definitely put this in because The Simpsons parodied Smiling Friends. I miss when cartoons would take little jabs at each other. Mr. Boss being pissed at Charlie is out of character for him, since he is always talking about how he loves his boys. But it fits his character as well because his character is literally throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's not a slight towards his character. I love Mr. Boss. That's just how he is. My only problem with this episode is that Squim is a bit annoying, but he's meant to be, so it works. Just a good Smiling Friends episode. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the 5th spot, below the Mr. Frog episode, but above Silly Samuel. Episode 7 is the Schmalugals. This episode starts off with Pim and Charlie helping out the Schmalugals, little creatures who are parodies of the Smurfs. I just have to say, I fucking hate the Smurfs. Like, is there anyone who likes them? Like, genuinely. Their gimmick isn't funny. I've never found a person who would actually call themselves a fan of the Smurfs. But they just keep making shitty movies. What is up with that? Anyways, an evil wizard kidnaps Pim and some Schmalugals, and Charlie yells at the Schmalugals for just accepting this, and uses his gym bro energy to train them, and the montage is very funny. Up at the evil wizard tower, it turns out that the wizard kidnapped Schmalugals because their juice makes your hair grow back and the wizard is balding. I love this side plot, with Pim trying to convince him that balding is not that bad, and the wizard actually makes some good points. Like the picture of the balding guy and then putting hair on him and saying that he looks like a CEO now. That shit actually got me. He's kind of right about it. The thing is, Pim is bald, so the wizard shouldn't be telling him all this shit. I really love the dynamic of the wizard and Pim, it's great. Charlie raids the tower with the Schmalugals and they capture the wizard. Pim tells them what's wrong, and Charlie tells the wizard to get on a balding treatment that he's on. Then everyone gets food. I love the style of this last scene, it's very reminiscent of the Amazing World of Gumball. This episode is great. The Schmalugals are fun characters, way better than the fucking Smurfs. I love how Charlie goes through a little arc, where he dipped at the start of the episode saying this was a Pim problem. But when Pim got kidnapped, Charlie used his skills to solve the problem. It shows why Charlie and Pim are best friends. And this episode also has a little subplot for the middle-aged dads out there, with Mr. Boss watching Clerks with a guy from Clerks. This is a very weird point to bring up, but I really like seeing the Smiling Friends car again. That's all on that matter. My final thought on this episode is that at one point, Pim has no mouth and he must scream. Wow, that's so deep. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the second spot, below Curse of the Green Halloween Witch, but above Pim and Charlie Save Mother Nature. Episode 8 in the season finale is the Glep ep. This episode starts off with Mr. Boss figuring out that Glep does absolutely nothing in the office, so he fires him. So I was kinda dreading this episode since I heard the title. I kinda like Glep as a joke character who just sat around doing nothing, and I thought trying to add further depth to him would ruin the joke. Were my fears justified? We'll see. We see that Glep owns a mansion and his wife leaves him, so he goes to a bar where he tells his life story to the patrons. Throughout history, Glep has been an outcast and has inadvertently killed so many people, like starting the fall of Rome and creating the bubonic plague. Everyone at the bar is pissed at him for creating the plague, and even the "you're so old" guy from the first episode comes back to send out a prayer to the victims of the plague. So wholesome. Then we get a flashback of a homeless Mr. Boss after he lost everything, and he meets Glep. And Glep makes him smile, giving him the idea for Smiling Friends. This is actually really cool. Even though the series isn't focused on lore, it's awesome to see how Smiling Friends got started. And it explains why Glep has a mansion and does absolutely nothing. There is a bit of a continuity error with this because it was revealed 2 episodes ago that Squim was the first Smiling Friend, but this would make Glep the first Smiling Friend. I sure hope someone got fired for that. Then Glep goes back to HQ and sees everything is in disarray, and Mr. Boss apologizes for firing him. It's so funny because he doesn't apologize because Glep secretly did something to keep the company in order, which him being fired caused this chaos to happen. No, he just remembered that Glep is the one who gave him the idea for Smiling Friends, and everything around them is not related. Then we get a dinner scene with the crew, and we see Alan's dad and the running child from Pim's family all grown up, and it's sick. Then the episode ends with a great gag with Charlie arguing with the narrator. This was a pretty good episode. Even though I was worried about expanding Glep's character, I think it worked really well. He was an outcast all his life, so finally finding friends in the Smiling Friends was his big break, which causes him to be super depressed when he's fired. Great stuff. Nothing too deep, which is great for this show. It also makes you feel so bad for him. Justice for Glep. This episode is pretty funny. Very middle of the road funny for Smiling Friends episodes, but that's still pretty good. My final thoughts are, fuck Charlie and Alan for having a group chat without Pim and then telling him about it. That shit actually hurts you deep down. Fuck you guys. In terms of the ranking, this episode is going in the 5th spot, below Moleman, but above the Mr. Frog episode. And that's season 3 of Smiling Friends. Now, what did I think of it? I thought it was a really fun season of television. I do believe this season was better than season 2 and just a bit below season 1. I mean, there was only one episode I thought was fine, and the rest were good to amazing. It's a very consistent season. This season also feels like it breathed a new life into the show. I don't know if this is really true, but I didn't see as many memes come out as season 2 as season 1. But this season, there was a good 1 or 2 memes that came out every episode. I do love how this season gave us little lore droppings. It was unexpected, but welcomed. It's also a really funny season. I don't think I brought it up much, but I love the realistic dialogue between characters. It's hilarious. The final thing I want to say before the ranking is, where has the cool autistic gamer gone? I miss him. Okay, onto the ranking. In 8th place is Silly Samuel. In 7th place is Squim Returns. In 6th place is the Mr. Frog episode. In 5th place is the Glep ep. If you've watched the video this far, comment Mr. Boss for President to confuse people in the comments and to show me who has actually watched this far into the video. And it's also engagement bait, I know I'm shameless. In the 4th spot is Moleman. In the 3rd spot is Pim and Charlie Save Mother Nature. In the second spot is Schmalugals. And in the first spot is Curse of the Green Halloween Witch. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. My next video is going to be a retrospective on Season 1 of Adventure Time. If that interests you, stick around. What did you think of Season 3? Any show recommendations? Okay, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.